Good day. I'm very happy to be able to introduce our work, Curriculum Development, teaching engineering students the basis of Western and scientific thought in English. This work is a collaboration effort between people in a variety of areas of engineering. The TA Ravi was from mechanical engineering. The head teacher of this class, Professor Zhengtian Yao, is from computer science. Ting Lia is representing the foreign students. And myself, Jonathan, from electrical engineering, is the person who wrote the grant. We're all from Yenzhou University. Our motivation behind this is our background in teaching Taiwanese engineering students scientific writing and paper presentation over about 15 years. I had noticed that one key problem. Students are trying to use English, but are still thinking in Chinese. On the micro level, that is grammar and spelling, students exhibit correct English. However, on a macro level, that is the expression and organization of ideas. These are based on a Chinese and not a Western worldview. The result of this has been English writing that is on the surface quite good, but leaves a native speaker scratching their head and wondering why the author has chosen the words he does. Our hypothesis is that the reason for poor macro-level English in Taiwan engineering students is a failure to grasp, to understand, and to enter into the Western worldview, or more specifically, the Western worldview that underpins Western science. So, let's make some key comments here from the literature. So, the scientific enterprise cannot be pursued without making certain presuppositions which are not derived from science and cannot be derived from science. Now, while these ideas are the basis of a lot of discussion in the humanities and in cross-cultural studies, they are not largely neglected by the scientific community, with the possible exception of old and about to retire professors such as myself and Professor Zhang. So, this neglect does not hinder students who have grown up within this worldview. It's already embedded in their thinking. It does hinder engineers coming from other worldviews. For example, Taiwanese students who come from a worldview that's dominated by Buddhism. So this work seeks to develop a course to introduce the key teachers and influencers of the modern Western worldview. So let's look at the scope of the course. On the left, I have a diagram showing with time going forwards. We concentrate on the life and teaching of only three men: Moses from around 1400 BC, Plato and Socrates in their stream around 500 BC, and the teachings of Jesus and those who surrounded him at around AD 0. These guys so we concentrate on their teachings and we look at their effect on a number of key post-Enlightenment figures. In other words, like Galileo, Boyle, Newton, Pasteur, Faraday, and Maxwell, in terms of in their life, their contribution to society, and the influence of the earlier thinkers on their ideas. So how do we do this? Okay, sorry, before we do that, I'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges to overcome in this type of a course. So we asked the students, why did they choose the course? Only a small sliver of the students chose it because they were interested in what we're talking about in the course. The majority is they needed an English language general studies credit, or this class time was scheduled and this class time fit into their schedule. So obviously this presents a challenge to us. How do we keep the students engaged in the course material? The second challenge, not evident from this graph, is the fact that the standard deviation in English ability is very large amongst our students. They range from native speakers, Americans, to Now, there's a drastic change in opinion after the course. We asked students, would you join a small group discussion of the course material in the future? Only a small sliver said no. A big chunk of students said yes. They're interested in studying more about these ideas and thinking of the Western worldview and how it underpins science, etc. And we asked them, would you recommend this course to other students? Again, almost 50% said yes, and a large chunk said maybe. Only a small percentage said no. you can see this is a very big difference from their viewpoint before they started with only a small percentage interested to now having the majority of students thinking, hey, this is cool. And this is despite many students' complaint. Too much work is required for this general studies course. Why do we have to attend all but one lecture or fail? Why do we have to read 1,000 words per week of English? Okay. So obviously this challenge was overcome. So how do we facilitate this teaching? Okay, so looking at the topics, we have the classics, Moses, Plato, and Jesus. We only concentrate on 3 people. And then second part concentrates on their influence. So outside the class, we have a website which directed their readings, about 1,000 words per week, and a weekly quiz with prizes, in which they read works by Moses, by Genesis, works by Plato, the Apology of Socrates, and the biography of Luke about Jesus. During our contact time, we introduced Moses through a series of lectures and videos, followed by small group discussions. For Plato, we just used lectures and videos and it had no discussion. For Jesus, we skipped the lecture and gave them a quick video, but most of the time was spent in small group discussions as the students discussed the book of Luke together. The final part, this influence part, was done by students. At home, they needed to study about that person, and they could choose one of 3 options: a book, an interview, or a video. And then in class, they would present about that person's life, influence, and the impact of the classics on that person's life. So let's now evaluate we evaluated how effective each course component was by means of survey. The completion rate of the survey was 44 to 48, or 90% of the students of the class wrote the survey for us. Okay, first of all, considering the website. We spent a lot of time to develop the website. And all course materials are available on the website, including the required readings with commentary. I've added a little bit to help clarify things. Options for the final presentations, sample presentations, the lecture slides, the mark sheets, the video links. Everything is there. So we asked the students, did you find the website useful? Well, you can see there's a section, about 1/3 of the students said no, they did not find it useful, or never visited the website, or didn't even know the website existed. However, the majority of students, about 66%, did find the website useful, and a small sliver of students basically visited it every week to look at what was happening on the website and actually studied it. So we're positive about the website. Small group discussions. Well, most lectures and videos were followed by small group discussions, about 20 minutes, and the study of the teachings of Jesus was exclusively in small groups. Well, did students enjoy these discussions? Well, there's a division. About 1/3 did not enjoy small group discussions. The largest group either loved them or found them or enjoyed them, and a number of students were okay. Who cares? We next asked the students, did the discussions help them to better understand the course material? A majority found them very useful for finding the course material. Another second largest group was neutral, and only a minority, less than about 20% of the students, said that they were either useless or did not have too much help. The last component was the final presentations that students made by forming their own group of 2 or 4 members. They chose whether to read a biography, view a video of the person's life, or interview a notable person. And all these allowable books, videos, and people were listed on the course website. Books and videos were all ordered by the library. The books all written for the level of a 9-year-old to a 12-year-old in Canadian society. And then after they did and the final presentation was done, their findings were presented to the class in the last 2 weeks of the course. So you can see the majority of students actually chose the books, but a sizable minority chose either interview or video. So Did they find it, next question, did the students find it enjoyable, or did they find it beneficial to prepare these final presentations? So obviously enjoyable, video and interview people found them more enjoyable than the book. Same thing for beneficial, the videos and the interviews were more beneficial, the books lagged a little bit behind. Now, 5 out of 44 students reported that they disliked preparing the final presentations. The remainder were neutral or above. In previous years, some students had found reading English books difficult, so these alternatives seemed to allow them to find something they could enjoy and not dislike. Now, as I mentioned, 5 students did not dislike their final presentation. The same 5 students said they learned nothing from the final presentation. And I wonder if this 5 students were the group, we gave one group 0 on the final presentation because they plagiarized it word for word. So am I wondering whether these 5 students who disliked it are the ones who got the 0? Okay. Listening to presentations. Oh, half the class found it enjoyable and half the class found it beneficial. And neutral, over 25% of the students were neutral. They didn't find it unenjoyable, they didn't dislike it, and it was okay, helpful, but not that great. So in the previous year, students with extremely poor English ability presented extremely painful final presentations. So it seems that allowing these students to present a video made it more enjoyable both for these students in preparing and everybody else in looking at it, despite the fact that doing a video required them to pay a 25% mark penalty. So in conclusion, we have developed an English General Studies course that has been revamped and updated to introduce the Western worldview. Students entered the course with reluctance and low expectations, but by the end of the course, the students' perceptions had changed so much that they would recommend this course to other students.